Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're getting back to our Generation 1 Transformers, and this time we're taking a look at a golden oldie. We're looking at the 1984 Autobot Warrior Sunstreaker. Sunstreaker, as I said, came out in 1984. That would have made him one of the original Transformer toys. He was also available in 1985, and he would be discontinued in 1986. I believe in some of the mail-away brochures, he would become a mail-away exclusive during 86. Now, Sunstreaker was always one of the more popular Transformers, especially due to his fancy alternate mode. So naturally, he was always in high demand. But as I've seen from many of the promotional materials that I've received from the Japanese toy line, originally Sunstreaker was also released in a red color. So as you can imagine, red versions of Sunstreaker here are pretty popular and very difficult to find on the open market. Sunstreaker has been one that fans have long wanted to see a remake of, but the original mold for this toy here has been lost to time. So, new versions of this original toy are impossible to have done since the mold is destroyed. However, a brand new version of Sunstreaker is due out soon in the Earthrise line. Hence why we're trying to review him here. Now in the lore, Sunstreaker is said to be the twin brother of Sideswipe. And while none of the media really goes into that too much, it is interesting to see that they do set up Transformers to have technically blood relations with each other. It would just be nice if this concept were further expanded upon. However, with the way their bios were written, it's often been said that their bios were likely switched between the two toys, intending for this to originally have been Sideswipe and the Sideswipe toy to be Sunstreaker. It mainly boils down to the fact that they mention that Sideswipe has a jetpack on his backside, and clearly on the back of the original Sideswipe toy, all that's on his backside is the windscreen to his Lamborghini mode. Whereas here on Sunstreaker, the combination of the engine here and this backplate with a little imagination could be considered a jetpack of sorts. So it holds some merit, but who really knows after all these years, my friends? Anyway, let's take a look at Sunstreaker here. Love the feeling of some of the die-cast metal in this toy, even though Sunstreaker here is predominantly plastic, which is a sad part, but he does have some very nice rubber tires here. His articulation is mainly limited to his arms. You can shift the arms at the shoulder a little bit. He does have a joint at his elbow, so you can bend his arms at the elbow, about 90 degrees. As you can see, he has a launcher in his wrist, and like all of them, they were neutered, so they don't hold very well. And that's basically all the articulation. You can adjust his ankles, but again, that's more to transform Sunstreaker than it has any real play value. Alrighty then. To transform Sunstreaker, it's a pretty simple approach. First things we have to do is, of course, remove his accessories. Starting with the shoulder pads, and of course, remove everything from his wrists. To transform Sunstreaker, first thing we have to do is we have to loosen this back plate, set it down so it's out of our way. The head assembly, we fold up the chest where it has the windscreen of the car. And we're going to shift things in here. There's a little post here underneath. Trying to shift that so that it will loosen the head. There we go. With the head now detached free, we can fold the head down like so. Kind of keep it up there for a minute. I'll lift the back plate up a little bit as we shift his feet down. And then we slide the legs up against the waist. Then we're going to fold up. I'm going to reach in here and grab this little post in his chest and fold it up against the windscreen. It's meant to be a kind of like a little seat. And then you fold the windscreen unit and the engine assembly all up onto the top. And you'll push the feet together, form the front of the car. The arms you fold back at the shoulders. One arm you'll bend downward. Specifically, you'll fold down the left arm here, bend it. Okay, it didn't really matter which one. You just fold one arm down, rotate it so it fits snugly in here. There's a post underneath the body. And you'll do the same thing with the opposite arm and fold it up at the top. Again, secure it to the post on the back. And then, of course, we fold back this back panel so it rests smoothly on the bottom. And then there we have it. There's Sunstreaker's alternate mode. It's a special version of a Lamborghini Countach, which has the engine exposed. As you can see here, since we have the air scoops exposed to the open air, that would definitely allow for more. That would definitely allow it to be air-cooled, as more air can get into the engine. So this one's probably more for racing than an actual one you would see on the streets. All in all, it isn't a bad-looking car, although it does suffer. I don't know if it's just mine or if this is common with all versions of Sunstreaker, but as you can see, there is a slight difference. It's probably not showing up too well on the camera. But there is a slight difference in the yellow plastic that's used for the body and for the canopy. It kind of appears that the canopy here is all molded in the translucent black color and then was painted yellow, whereas the body was molded in yellow plastic. So the difference may not be coming through quite as clearly on the camera, but that is something noticeable about the toy. I mean, it's not too terribly bad, especially if you can't see it on the camera, but it is a common complaint from GoBot fans. And it's nice to see there is a transformer that has that problem. As we stated earlier, Sunstreaker's on rubber tires. Let's see how well he rolls. He squeaks pretty good. Doesn't roll too bad. Not perfect, but all in all, it's not bad. Moving right along now, let's take a look at Sunstreaker's loose parts. Sunstreaker does include two hands. This is, of course, the right hand. And then, of course, left hand. Sunstreaker also includes 3 of these chrome missiles. Really isn't much to see with them. There's only little bits of detail, but as you can see, they are somewhat on the long side. We could joke about that, but we're not going to. And then lastly, Sunstreaker has 2 of these rocket boosters, which can also be extended like so, or locked into place. There's little bits of detail on them, but nothing really to get excited about. But there you go, 7 loose parts for Sunstreaker. Alright, now let's take a look at Sunstreaker's instructions. And yes, I did switch the fist and the gun around. That is the correct hand, and that is just a missile. I could do it, so why not? Here's Sunstreaker's original instructions from 1984. Open it up here, and you can see the original toy and loose parts, and of course, the original Japanese stickers for the toy. Quite nice. And then we go through the motions of how to transform Sunstreaker from a Lamborghini into a robot. And then lastly, you get here and you put stickers on him. Quite a few stickers. And then, of course, on the back page, reminding us to save our robot points and how to read the tech specs. And speaking of which, that's what we're about to do here. Here's them real fast. There we go. Here we are. Take a look at Sunstreaker's tech spec. It's all done up in red to signify he's an Autobot. It even says Autobot above his picture. And this, of course, would have been the picture seen on the front of the box. It gives his name as Sunstreaker. His function is Warrior. And his motto is, "They can't beat the best." The complete egotist. Sunstreaker thinks he is the most beautiful thing on Earth. I kind of doubt that, especially after nearly 40 years. Loves his sleek styling, contemptuous of other Autobot race cars, particularly his twin Sideswipe. Fires laser-guided ground-to-air rockets and high-energy electron pulses at 300 bursts per second. Tough polymer steel skin resists artillery. Not a team player. Can be baited into dangerous situations, but is a very calm, competent, and ruthless war machine. So this says a lot about his character. Of course, it's not surprising. It's got him as the complete egotist and not a team player, because usually the most arrogant are not team players, regardless of what they think. And of course, it mentions here being able to fire electron pulses, but noticeably, Sunstreaker does not come with a gun. So it's kind of, where are those pulses coming from? At any rate, we go over here to take a look at his stats. We almost, as you can see with how bright the line is on here, we almost don't need the decoder to see it, but we'll put it on there anyways just for kicks. It gives his strength as 5, his intelligence is 6, his speed is 7, his endurance is 8, his rank is 5, his courage is 7, his firepower is 7, and his skill is 6. So all in all, he's about average on being a warrior, but he definitely can take a beating and has the courage to back it up. Now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of Sunstreaker? Sunstreaker's an interesting toy. He's certainly the kind of character you expect within the hero ranks. There's always somebody amongst the heroes that usually believes that they're the best at everything they do. So Sunstreaker pretty much fills that role. As the toy has grown, though, he's found himself put into different roles, including from the Rise of Combiners card game expansion. Sunstreaker is one of the components to form Optimus Maximus. So, kind of shows that obviously he's learned how to be a little bit more of a team player if he eventually becomes part of a combiner. But here, for the Generation 1 version, for what it is, it's not a bad toy, given what time period this toy was produced in, as this toy was one of the original car robots that was made for the Diaclone line back in the 1970s. So definitely with him being released in the 80s as a Transformer, he kind of was already showing his age a bit. And unfortunately, all these years later, he still does show his age. But however, if you do have Sideswipe, you would want Sunstreaker to be alongside there with him. So, I guess we can give him some kudos for that. As a robot, the toy's okay. I mean, he does stand a little squat. And the lack of articulation is kind of a poor thing. That and the neutered launchers. The car mode, it's pretty nice looking. Especially if you can overlook the slight paint detail on the windscreen. It's not a bad car model either. So, yeah, this one's definitely worth seeking out, but do be careful, as Sunstreaker is getting on the hard-to-find side amongst the original toys. And that concludes my review of the Generation 1 Autobot Warrior Sunstreaker. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you liked the video, drop me a thumbs up here on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you can join our ranks. And of course, ring that bell so you'll be notified when I post new content. Also, I would like to ask you to share this video with your friends and fellow collectors. That's what helps this channel grow. And share your thoughts about Sunstreaker in the comments down below. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.